No, no, no. No worries. No worries. No worries. In Dream Team, we trust. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Let's Talk Live. As you can see, I am at home. I had a lot of personal stuff to do today, and I just couldn't make it out to my studio. So I said, I'm here working. Why not jump on and do a little updates on 3 of the major cases that we've been covering here on this channel. And it's nice to see everybody. Obviously, Karen Reed has court tomorrow. We know that last week it was abruptly stopped, and it's all this information this goes for the Commonwealth. If you're believing all the trolls on Twitter and Facebook, I feel that Karen is in the absolute best hands that she can be in, and I've said this from the start. I don't think that Ted Daniel, I'm thinking Ted Daniel because Ted Daniel just reported, we're going to go over it. No, I just don't think that Alan Jackson would ever put Karen in any type of position to compromise herself, this case, what they've literally been going through for the last, well over 2 years. So in Dream Team, we trust. It's okay. We're going to get through it. I know that Nick Rocco the other day was in one of my chats. I think it was during the Tom and Boston Mike stream, and actually, and I'll share it really quick if you haven't seen it, but he put this, it was during Tom and Mike, and a bunch of things we're going to go through here. But, Nick put this up in the chat. Said Tuesday's going to be hot. They, meaning Karen's team, have the facts and proof on their side. The defense did nothing wrong. So let's just trust the Dream Team. I feel that Karen is in very good hands. And if you go back and watch the stream, and my friend Lauren, when she was up in the studio on Friday, when we did the live stream, she said, look at Hank Brennan when he's talking about the ARCA guys. He is shaking. And I released that video. I did like a 4-minute cut, and I threw it up on the channel, and he's shaking. And if you look at the table and you look at Karen's team, they're in complete control. They're comfortable. They're not worrying. And then when Alan Jackson got outside of court, I think he was asked by one of the reporters out there, like, what does this mean? He goes, I don't know. I don't know. And of course, they're not going to play all their cards either in front of the media. But in the Dream Team, we trust. I feel like we're going to be fine tomorrow. And I feel that they have the information that's going to cover everything. And they'll be able to handle this in court tomorrow. So what do we had? We had Ted Daniels come out today and said that he got sauces. He got sauces that said that the federal investigation is over. Well, who are these sauces? Who are these sauces? We're going to get into that article. But what I do want to play here is Aiden Turtleboy Carney just jumped on Howie Carr about 15 minutes ago. I want to play that episode really quick before we get to these articles. Of course, we have an update in the Robert Brooks case, and we also have an update in Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia's case. If you have not seen that, I will go over that as well too. So we can take a breath. I want everybody to breathe. Let me know that you're breathing in the chat. Let's do this. Ready? Take a deep breath. Hold it in. Exhale. We're good. The thing about the feds, when are they ever going to leak to any sources, or when are they ever going to let the public know that they are done with any type of investigation? I don't believe it. I don't know how all that information works, but we know how the feds like to hide everything. So I don't know who the sauces are. If it's off Twitter, I would, because there's a lot of shit floating around. They were saying that Dr. Wolf was arrested and ARCA's doors were kicked in today in their Philadelphia office. It's insane. Don't believe the shit. Like I said, take a breath. We're going to get through it. Karen's going to be fine. That team would never put her in any position to compromise herself or this case. All right, let's listen to Aiden Turtleboy Carney on Howie Carr this afternoon, about 20 minutes ago.
Going to be another hearing tomorrow in Dedham on the on motions involved in the Karen Reed murder trial, the second one, after she was acquitted on 2 of the 3 charges last year. And now double jeopardy is alive and well in Norfolk County, and she's going to be tried again. And the judge is going to hear various motions, and it could be a fairly fiery hearing. And so we just wanted to set the stage on what's going to happen with Aidan Carney, aka Turtle Boy, the blogger who's been covering this, and he's been on this case from day one, and he actually did.
Stop saying blogger. Independent journalist, reporter. Stop saying blogger.
Some time in jail for some of his reporting, or should I say he was framed for some of his reporting by the deep state. I think it's safe to say. But this is it seems to me that this is a tempest in a teapot. The feds are involved in this case with the possible civil rights violations, et cetera. They hired crash reconstruction experts to see if Karen Reed, who's charged, had actually killed her ex-boyfriend, or her boyfriend, excuse me, a Boston police officer, with a car. The crash experts said she hadn't. So they were brought in, but they weren't. Well, I'll let Turtle Boy explain what the controversy is here. First of all, though, Aidan Carney, doesn't this seem like this is just kind of a tempest in a teapot here? Isn't her anger, the judge's anger, a little out of proportion to what's happened?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I wish she had that same energy when it came to the inverted video that was presented into evidence in a murder trial in her courtroom, in which the sergeant who presented it said that it was a fair and accurate description of what the Canton Police Sallyport garage looked like when Karen Reed's car was inside of it. She didn't seem that out.
Anybody didn't see our show yesterday? He came in live in studio. It was badass. We had a great time in there and talked Karen Reed. We talked Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia and what we expect on Tuesday, tomorrow, in Karen Reed's hearing. All right, let's get back to Howie.
Outraged about that, or a number of other indiscretions that have happened throughout this trial. But boy, the fact that there was an email communication between the defense and one of their witnesses, that sure, I mean, she was literally shaking, Howie, standing there like losing her mind, couldn't control her impulses, and just had to call it a day and go home early, and I'll see you all next week.
Yep,
and,
take my ball and go home.
To do his argument. I mean, it's just dramatics. It's theatrics. That's all this is. They are everything that they accused Karen Reed's team of being.
So the dispute is that that Karen Reed's defense team paid these guys who were initially hired by the feds $23,000, and it appears that this is just the expenses, because they had to keep bringing them back to Boston. They kept hanging around. And these are the top crash reconstruction experts in the U.S. Now, Turtle Boy, if the judge had initially allowed the defense to say that these guys had been hired by the feds, then none of this would have been an issue, right?
So I'm just going to interject here. The first bill during the first trial, I believe I read, was $43,000 paid by the government. By the feds, to have them come in and independently, not take a side, not take the Commonwealth side, not to take the defense side, to do take the information, crunch it, and tell us what they came back with. And when they came back to their conclusion, what did we get? Karen Reed's vehicle didn't hit John O'Keefe, and John O'Keefe never made contact with Karen Reed's vehicle. Bam. Case closed. Case closed. The expenses, and just like Howie Carr was saying, the expenses this time around, they had to fly them in, they had to have them hang around, and that's basically what this expense bill is. We'll listen to hear what Turtle Boy has to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And first of all, they sent him an invoice, Howie. That's what the email said. We're going to send you an invoice.
Usually what you do.
All the time from attorneys who have represented me something for a discount or for free.
Right.
Invoices. You're not expected to pay, Okay, so that doesn't mean any payment has happened. We haven't seen a breakdown of this invoice. We don't know who's paying it. We don't know if it's been paid. We don't know anything. All right. And as far as we know, it was for hotel lodging and whatever, because Bev made them fly out twice to prove themselves to the court that they were actually competent, unlike Trooper Paul, who required no such voir dire and was just taken at his
Well,
expert
thank you so much
opinion
for the
from
five.
community college
Thank you.
that Karen Reed struck John O'Keefe with her car, just his arm though, and it made him do a pirouette in the air, and then he landed somehow 30 feet away, and his cell phone ended up underneath his body, and his explanation for that was it just did.
Trooper Paul is the one who says that the crime scene speaks to him.
Yes.
Yes, it does sometimes. Yes.
That's what he said under oath.
And Alan Jackson asked him, "What else did the crime scene say?" and we all had a good laugh at that. But this, I mean, the fact they don't like this all comes down to the fact that they don't like the fact that these two guys completely blow up their whole case because they're smart,
right.
They're educated, they've done this a million times, and they say definitively, without a doubt, that Karen Reed could not have hit John O'Keefe with her car. It's impossible, which means something else happened to John O'Keefe because he's dead. So she didn't do it. Someone else did do it. And that requires an explanation. That means there's a cover-up. It means there's a conspiracy. And that is a reality that Hank Brennan does not want this jury to hear. So he has effectively, put out a dog whistle for his own witness intimidation because these ARCA experts have been relentlessly harassed. ARCA had to shut down their social media accounts and turn off their Google reviews because Hank basically, he got his online mob to do the dirty work for him and intimidate these witnesses. Sound familiar? Because he doesn't want them to testify. This is the exact same nonsense that they're accusing me of doing to the McAlberts, except with them.
I'm going to pause this really quick and just keep in mind too, ARCA works with the NHL, have improved their skating rink boards. So when there's crashes or head-on collisions or body contacts inside those boards, it makes it more easier as far as the impact. They work with the military. To, I believe their specialty was improving their Humvees from what I read. And I could be wrong on that, but I know that they worked on projects, obviously, with the military. They're well qualified with with their expertise. And like Aiden's saying, it just blows up the Commonwealth's case because it's just the two simple facts. Like I said, John O'Keefe didn't make contact with Karen Reed's vehicle. Karen Reed didn't make contact with John O'Keefe. Nancy, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. She said, Bev needs a glazed donette. Yes, the glazed donuts. Let's go back to Howie and Turtle.
It's actually kind of working because it's gotten them to shut down their social media accounts. He's trying to prevent them from testifying. That's all this is. So they are everything that they claim that I am, everything that they claim Karen Reed is, and Hank Brennan, he's just a dirty, filthy mob lawyer nerd who at the end of the day, this is going to be his legacy. He will live for this forever. And I know you're listening, Hank. This is your legacy for the rest of your miserable life, is that you had a nice legacy, but then you took on this loser case, and you're never, ever, ever going to convict Karen Reed, ever. And you will always have this following around you for the rest of your life that you're the guy who signed up to participate in corruption and couldn't finish the deal.
Turtle Boy, why did the judge rule in the first trial that these ARCA experts, these again the top crash reconstruction experts in the United States of America could not say that they were brought on by I would say a neutral party in this case, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Federal Bureau of Investigation brought them on as part of their probe into whether there had been any civil rights violations here. I mean, why weren't they allowed to identify themselves?
Because their argument was that it would taint the jury.
It was exculpatory. They were providing exculpatory. That's what exculpatory evidence does. It taints the jury to vote not guilty. I mean, that's a reality, isn't it?
That's literally the only reason that she wasn't acquitted the first time. and I've noticed from juror interviews that they told me that if we had any idea that a federal investigation into the investigation was going on, it would have definitely affected people's opinions of this. Of course it would. It would have legitimized the whole conspiracy. The fact that the FBI apparently found legitimacy in this conspiracy enough to, spend well over a year and God knows how much money and time and resources into investigating this. They don't do that for every nut job who calls them up and says, I mean, if Brian Walsh called up the FBI tomorrow and said, hey, I think I'm being set up by Cohasset police, and they're not going to do a grand jury. That's not how this works. Where there's smoke, there's fire. They see something up here, and they investigate it. They're not stupid. They hired these ARCA people. They said that Karen Reed didn't do it, and so they know that somebody else did.
This is how much do you think they spent on the ARCA people, the feds I'm talking about? Because I think this 23,000 is just a drop in the bucket. I mean, it costs a lot of money to hire these people, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've been told $500,000. Because they had to do a full experiment. They had to test out.
I read just the other day it was 43,000, and again, I could be wrong on that, but I could have swore it was 43,000. Let me see. How much did ARCA cost? Karen Reed case. Let's see. I read it was 43,000. I read an article the other day. It was 43,000. Let's see. The chat's probably already on it. It's 500K. Where did I see 43,000? I could have swore I posted the article. Let me see. Oh, I just screwed up. Hang on. I'm going to keep playing this while we look.
Several different hypotheses because they didn't know what the government was going to say was their theory of how John died. So they had to test out the idea that he threw a cocktail glass at the tail light. So they built a cannon to do that. They had to test the side swipe. They had to test the run over.
Okay, here's where I fucked up.
They had to test it all. And just see would any.
This is the article I saw the other day, and I apologize. I fucked up. Because we gotta memorize every detail. We might forget sometimes. It's this one I read. The Norfolk District Attorney's Office sent 25 investigates receipts and invoices showing that they spent 43. I knew that figure was in my mind somewhere. 43,000 prosecuting Karen Reed, but that figure does not include salaries, overtime, records, and expenditures and disclosure. Confidential investigations. Right? I was wrong. We get things wrong sometimes. We're not perfect. All right, let's keep playing.
Result in that, and none of them could explain the injuries. Not a single thing could explain.
That was my screw up.
The John O'Keefe.
I knew I had that number in my head.
Spent ungodly amounts of money on this and time. There's been a report from Ted Daniels, anonymous sources. He claims he doesn't say who these people are or who they work for, or whatever. That claim that the investigation is over. So I don't know if there's any truth to that.
The federal investigation, you mean?
That's correct.
And that they're not going to return any indictments?
I mean, that's what his anonymous sources are saying. So I don't know. I mean, Ted's usually pretty accurate. I don't know who these people are, why they are suddenly releasing this information. Now, who knows?
God, I hope it's not like the McAlberts that are telling him that and he's going with it. I respect Ted Daniel. I hope he got this one right. I'm curious about his sauces. But God, imagine if it was like the McAlberts, Paul O'Keefe. The federal investigation is over, Ted. Okay. I think Ted's a lot smarter than that. He wouldn't be tricked by them, right? He wouldn't be tricked by them. But we'll see. Here we go.
I can't confirm any of it. I mean, those are Ted's sources. But at the end of the day, it doesn't. I mean, all that would mean is the McAlberts are getting away with this. That the people who killed John O'Keefe are not being held responsible. Because it doesn't affect Karen Reed at all. It doesn't affect me at all. Our cases will be unaffected by this completely. If anything, you would think that if they have some sort of statement that this federal investigation is over, it should only strengthen the idea that it should be allowed to be mentioned in court that a federal investigation took place
agree.
into this whole thing. And then Hank can say, well, nothing was revealed from it. But at least the jury will know
Well, no.
that an FBI investigation took place.
Is it possible that Auntie Bev, the judge, is going to realize or has realized that she kind of overreacted by stopping the hearing last week and stomping out of the courtroom and just generally
the
behaving
theater.
in a very foolish manner? Is it possible that she's going to say, you know, I think I went a little overboard and, you know, it's not that big of a deal? Or is she going to?
It's all for theater, man. This is all theater, and you're gonna see that shit through the entire trial with Brendan as well, too. The whole pounding on the desk when he threw the book. Remember when he threw the book on the defense table, his buddy's book about dog bites. And he threw it. I think he was crossing Dr. Marie Russell, and he threw the book on the table. I just dropped my water. Remember? Threw his book on the table, and he pounded the table, the podium, with his binder, his Trabber keeper. Yeah, you're gonna see the shit through the whole trial. It's to, you know, try to play into that jury, trying to play into that jury. All right, let's keep
Gonna
playing.
just
here.
come out, you know, fire breathing again?
I think that she'll put on a big show tomorrow, but I don't think she's going to do anything. I don't think she's going to take anyone off this case. She's going to give them a stern talking to. She just wants to kind of throw her weight around and put on a little show and a little hissy fit because she doesn't like Alan Jackson. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't think she's got the minerals to do anything. I mean, Karen Reed has a Sixth Amendment right, counsel of her choice. And if she wants Alan Jackson, she should get Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
This would be an unprecedented way for her to lose counsel of her choice if that were the case. But, you know, I highly doubt that a week off will calm her down because she's just an irrational person who acts based on emotion, doesn't like these people, and doesn't hide it. You know, she does not hide her feelings towards – she's made statements before towards David Unetti during the trial in which she said, like, you know, she does that thing where she breathes into the mic and said, Mr. Unetti, can you stop with the theatrics? Can you just get to it? And then meanwhile, here comes in.
She's doing it, right.
Thing, you know, puts his finger up to his mouth. Oh, it's like, oh, it's top secret. You can't let anyone know about it. So she doesn't mind theatrics when it's Spanky doing it. But when the defense is doing it, it's like, get to the point, sir. Let's keep it professional. No more theatrics.
Yeah.
I wonder if tomorrow Hank Brennan will say, as Jimmy Bulger once told me. Probably. He was Whitey Bulger's lawyer, not just for their trial, and he was paid handsomely, more than handsomely, for being Whitey Bulger's attorney when he was convicted of all those multiple murders and racketeering. He also handled Whitey Bulger's appeal of his sentence, and then he handled the lawsuit that the family brought for the so-called wrongful death of Whitey Bulger.
And didn't he go to the funeral?
I believe he did. Yes, I believe he did.
I mean, so
you can't make this stuff up.
Job. That's your pal. That's your buddy. Whitey Bulger. Good company you keep there. Like, yeah. You're real
Whitey kidnapped his brain. I told you that. You could see it in the courtroom, Turtle Boy. You know, Jay Carney was given the main lawyer was just he was just, you know, he took Whitey's measure and kind of, you know, backed off him as the trial went on. But Hank fell in love.
Yeah, I think he really did. He felt cool for the first time in his life. Somebody like Whitey Bulger would never hang out with him when he was younger. You know, with a nerdlinger like him, but it made him feel special. And now he thinks he's King Kong over here. He thinks he's a lot tougher than he actually is. And I just, it's not going to work. You're not going to keep the ARC experts out. You'll never convict Karen Reed. If the federal investigation or not, it doesn't matter. She's going to be acquitted, and so am I. So it doesn't have no bearing.
All right. So the hearing starts tomorrow morning. It should be over in a couple of hours, I would think, right? So you can come on tomorrow and fill us in on what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for entertainment's sake, I'm hoping for fireworks, but you know, for Karen Reed's sake, it's so absurd that it's still going on.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, and if people want to read the story about how the anti-Karen Reed forces have slimed and trolled the ARCA experts who are just professional guys doing a job and doing an honest job. But they're getting killed online just by these fools. It really is outrageous, Turtle Boy.
Yep. I agree, Allie. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Okay, check out the story. Check out the story at tbdailynews.com. It's up there now, and follow him on Dr. Turtle Boy on Twitter. Dr. Turtle Boy on Twitter. I'm Howie Carr.
All right. And speaking of that article, let's pull it up. Let's take a look at it really quick. Okay, from TV investigates, we got Canton cover up part 481. Online trolls egged on by Hank Brennan harass and intimidate family of Dr. Wolf to prevent him from testifying. Jesus Christ, these people will go at any length to get as low as they can. It's funny, they were trying to personally attack me on Twitter, and I just laugh at it. I'm like, you're not gonna rattle me. You're not gonna rattle me. Oh no, you're gonna say personal things about me. I'm so rattled. But they watch. That's the funny thing about it. They say they hate me. They say they absolutely fucking hate me. I can't stand you. We hate you. You're the worst fucking person on this planet. They all watch me. Because they'll mention shit like during my show. Oh, you said this and you said that, and they wait for like one personal detail to slip out, and they think they're gonna jump on it and offend me. Dude, I've been on YouTube for 5 years. I've had so much shit slung at me. It's not even funny. It does not affect me anymore. Yeah, they're probably here. They're probably here right now. Exactly. All right, let's get back to this article, like we like to say here in Boston. Let's see. Intimidate family of Dr. Wolf to prevent him from testifying, forcing ARCA to remove Twitter account and online reviews. Unreal. Here we go. Here's one of the posts here. It says disgraced ARCA X. Oh, yeah, our fame babe right here. K CT, we've got 2 letters in between. K Marie. I know her Twitter account. Disgrace ARCA experts. Daniel Wolf's wife, Dana Wolf, has left the Free Karen Reed group. She's deleted her comments and locked down her profile. Thank goodness there are screenshots. Get Daniel Wolf back on the stand and get to the bottom of this scandal. Let's see. Last week, Hank Brennan made a fool of himself at the Karen Reed hearing when he lied to the court and said that the U.S. Attorney's Office sent him communications between attorney Alan Jackson and ARCA crash reconstructionist expert Dr. Daniel Wolf. Brennan realized how problematic the testimony of the 2 ARCA experts is for him, since they both testified at the first trial that John O'Keefe's injuries could not have come from a car, and the damage to Karen Reed's vehicle is inconsistent with a motor vehicle collision. I want you all to remember this. Keep this in mind, people. And this is why I say, just do that with me. Ready? Breathe in. Breathe out. We'll do it one more time. Ready? Breathe out. Okay? This is all on the record. This is all on the record. Okay? It's there. So if this ever came into any type of appeal, it's already on the record. Even if Bev tomorrow said, Alan Jackson, you're out of here. ARCA experts are not testifying. Guess what? It's already there on the record in multiple hearings, and it was said multiple times throughout the first trial. It's already there on the record. Already there on the record. All right, let's keep reading here. He can't get a crash reconstructions expert of his own to testify that John O'Keefe was hit by a car, because no one with a brain would ever say that. But instead of doing the ethical thing and dropping the charges, Brennan is doing the only thing he can do, trying to smear ARCA experts as paid agents of the defense who will lie under oath and hope that online trolls he gets his tips from will harass and intimidate the experts from testifying at Karen Reed's second trial. His plan seems to be working. And also the funny thing about it, if we go back to juror Ronnie, what did Ronnie say? Well, we thought that you, meaning Turtle Boy, we thought that you paid Aka to come in and testify. He's like, paid Aka? I didn't pay Aka. Like, how would they know that? Shortly after hearing, dozens of online trolls, most of whom are anonymous, began to relentlessly harass and contact Aka on their Twitter account at Arca Experts. And that's the funny thing is all these lame asses, they all hide. They all hide under the cover of Twitter. They will never show their real faces. They will never show up in front of the courthouse and say anything to any of us. They won't show up to a hearing. They show up to the trial or maybe a hearing, a couple of them, and then they leave. They stay for 10 minutes. The blue shirt people, you know what I'm talking about. They stay for like 10, 20 minutes, and then they leave. They're gone because they're overpowered. They're overpowered. You know, there's like 200 Free Karen Reed supporters out there. There's like fucking 2 of them. Okay. And they don't say anything. They won't say anything to our faces. They don't come up to us. They don't come out to standouts and say anything. They hide. They hide in the mother's basement. That's what they do. That's what they do. So here's some tweets. Perjury for hire. You got, they're grabbing pictures and posting it up under their tweets. They demanded that Dr. Wolf be fired for lying under oath, something he never did. Right here, Mark. Should Daniel Wolf be punished for lying under oath in canoodling with Karen Reed's defense? Bum, bum, bum. Of course, if Michael Proctor is going to be fired and he has been suspended over the personal phone text messages that Wolf needs to lose his government contracts for lying under oath and canoodling with the defense team to help a murderer get away with it. Bum, bum, bum. Fucking 96 views. This is what these people get. 96 views on their fucking posts. That's what they get. 98 views. Dr. Wolf should be terminated immediately. Bum, bum, bum. Hank Brennan never outright accused them of lying under oath, but he knew exactly what he was doing. Brennan was using a dog whistle to smell to his small army of online terrorists who dedicated to protecting the McAlbert Mafia. He gave them all the impression that Dr. Wolf was a dishonest person who was brought and paid for by the defense, knowing full well what these vicious animals would do to Dr. Wolf. Others contacted Aka directly and posted receipts of their harassment campaigns on social media, encouraging others to do the same. We got D. Beck. I just went to aka.com and wrote an email to them, and it said, I am flabbergasted. Ooh, I feel like I'm in like 1920. I'm flabbergasted by the communications with emails and testimonies of Andrew Rensler and Dr. Wolf with the Karen Reed defense. Mr. Wolf offered to tailor testimony and gave the defense an outline of questions to ask. Both men skewed their testimonies in favor of the defense. Their bias was shown on cross-examination, and now it appears that their financial agreement between Aka and her defense, the disregard for the death of John O'Keefe and the victims of the death left behind could have caused another mistrial. But what if the accused murderer had been, and then it looks like it just doubled up here. Let's see. This disgrace for death of John O'Keefe and the victims that death left behind could have caused another mistrial. But what if the accused murderer, oh, okay, I see what they did. They had to get this last sentence in. What if the accused murderer had been acquitted? Thank you. Some maliciously began to give Aka 1-star Google reviews, prompting the company to have to take down the Google reviews altogether. It's fucking animals. They're vultures. They're vultures. How do you sleep at night? Paid $23,000 and coached by Karen Reed's defense team to interfere in the justice of John O'Keefe. Nothing independent about your organization, and you don't even get me started. How Dr. Wolf's wife is a fangirl and is in all Karen Reed's Facebook groups. So I'm so disgusted. How dare you people? they came out with the "How dare you? How dare you? How dare you, sir?" The fact of the matter is that nowhere in the email communications between Jackson and Dr. Wolf do they ever discuss lying about testimony in order to help Karen Reed. Their February 2024 report, which was financed by the federal government, concluded that John O'Keefe was never struck by a car. They came to the conclusion using science, math, physics, and experience from thousands of other collisions they have investigated, and they reached this conclusion prior to even speaking to anyone from the defense. The court should be much more outraged that the Commonwealth is willing to continue prosecuting Reed after reading that report, and that the fact that Jackson and Dr. Wolf communicated via email prior to testifying. Brennan knows that Dr. Wolf wasn't paid to say O'Keefe wasn't hit by a car, but he's smart enough to know that people in the online McAlbert mafia that he works for are dumb enough to believe, that Wolf was paid by the defense to lie. Earlier in the hearing, Brennan cried about how witnesses are being bullied and how his intentional dog whistle led to vicious harassment campaigns that damaged a reputable business to force them to shut their Twitter account down entirely. So here it is. ACA experts shut it down. Brennan, who inspired a woman by the name of Karen Yax, who goes by Critical K online, to harass and intimidate a family of Dr. Wolf. She also targeted ACA on Twitter and posted pictures of Dr. Wolf's wife and 3 small children because she joined a public Facebook group in June after her husband testified. Karen Yax demanded that Brennan drag her fanny up the stand. Drag her fanny up the stand. That's hilarious. She really said that? Drag her fanny up the stand. What are you, 90? Because Dr. Wolf's wife thanked Free Karen Reed supporters for their kind comments about her husband. And here's CT missing UN in the middle of it. Disgraced ACA expert Daniel Wolf's wife. Daniel Wolf has left the Facebook group. Yeah, she's in. She deleted her comments and locked down her profile. Thank goodness. With the screenshots, Dr. Wolf back on the stand and get to the bottom of the scandal. Dun, dun, dun. Some more screenshots. Has a lot to stay in the group. More screenshots. So it says Dana Wolf, who hasn't commented in the group since was bullied into leaving the group this week under the Massachusetts witness intimidation statute. That is also a felony to cause emotional harm to a family member of witness with the intent to impede or obstruct the administration of justice. It's clear that these people do not want Dr. Wolf to be able to testify at the second trial in order to achieve the goal that they are willing to harass and intimidate his wife and children, going after children. That's pretty sick. Hoping that he would look into protecting them by bowing out. Karen Yax expressed joy when she found out that she successfully intimidated ACA into removing their Twitter account, and expressed her desire that Mr. Wolf will be fired. Karen Yax still has not paid a $500,000 defamation judgment issued against her 2 years ago, in which she spread vicious lies about a monster mother killing her son. Additionally, she was a big supporter of Chris Watts. Oh boy, yeah. There's another one out there that kind of hooked into the Free Karen Reed movement, and I've talked about this just recently. And it was funny. The name came up. The name came up in my chat the other day. And that one was a Chris Watts supporter as well. So you need to go back and check your homework. This person is vicious. She was a huge Chris Watts supporter. And I'll just leave it at she's a she. I'll leave it at that. And you all can figure it out. And another one that is tried to grip onto a case. Yeah, Chris Watts supporter. Fucking sick. Was convicted of murdering his wife, Shanann, and their 2 young daughters in 2018. She blamed Shanann for the triple homicide, posted pictures of the children in the shower, and said that she didn't blame Chris Watts for taking her out. Good stuff. We got a video. Let's see.
My subjects of Watts Island. I come to you tonight as the queen of all of the inhabitants of Watts Island.
Okay. Let's see. Absolutely, without a doubt, people bring on their own death. Nice. That's real good stuff. Let's see. Between you and me, I want to know how he killed her. Same. I want to know the gory details. That's great. Did she make a sound or fight at all? Nice conversations. Really classy. Can't stand Shanann. Great. Good stuff here. Critical K making disgusting claims about Shanann and her children. Great. Really classy. Good stuff. Very similar to how she blamed Dana Wolf for vicious harassment her family is experiencing. Another tweet. Oh, stop whining, you big baby. Dana Wolf chose to go into a murderers groupie community and take bows and back pats and suck up all the attention she could get to intimidate. Aftermath of her husband testifying, neither is she nor she gets her moral high ground. This is who Hank Brennan is appealing to online to do his dirty work for him. This is who the O'Keefe family and friends associated with them are proud to be having defending them on Twitter. Brennan can't say that he doesn't listen to the online trolls like this either. At Tuesday's hearing, he said that he gets random emails, he did, from anonymous Twitter trolls who send him their theories of the case. Brennan bragged about this and how he hands over these ridiculous conspiracy-fueled emails from online psychopaths like Karen Yex to the defense, thinking it would make him sound transparent. Let's hear
For
this.
example, I get random emails from unknown people, anonymous, or sometimes their names on them, talking about theories of the case. I give it to the defense because it's in my possession, custody, and control. I have no intention of calling an anonymous person, but because I have the information, because I am the Commonwealth, they're entitled to it.
So in reality, he's just encouraging more of this and providing the world that he takes his cues from people like Karen Yex. Let's see. Once again, the online trolls heard Brennan's dog whistle, excuse me, and they were emboldened by Brennan to send him more liable and anonymous emails, knowing that Brennan would passionately hand them over to Karen Reed, so he would be forced to read them. Another tweet. Brennan doesn't want the ACCA experts to testify at the second trial because he can't convict Karen Reed if they do. He doesn't want to file a motion banning them because he knows that will make them look. So instead, he blew his dog whistle, got online mob to do his dirty work for him, and is hoping that ACCA decides is not worth no longer allowing these experts to testify at trial. This is the definition of witness intimidation. Ironically, this is the same thing that Brennan and the Commonwealth accused me of doing, except, and if you're just getting in, we're reading Turtle Boy's article here, except worse and much more evidence, leading to online mob and harassment, witness and goal preventing them from testifying. They blame me for the behavior of others who contacted Jennifer McCabe. They blame me for bad reviews of D&E Pizza. They blame me for alleged emails Allie McCabe's college. So why isn't Brennan being blamed for this sort of harassment? Their stated goal is to prevent the ACCA experts from testifying at trial, and Brennan knows this is encouraging behavior. Hank is morally bankrupt scumbag, completely devoid of any ethics, who can't fight or win fairly. He knows that his side doesn't have the facts or evidence on their side. He knows that if he does things like the way Lally did them to the jury, he can never convict Karen Reed. So he's doing the only thing a mob lawyer like him knows how to do, and that's fighting dirty. I love that last bit. That's really good. It's really good writing. I love it. And it sums up that whole article. And phenomenal writing, again, from one Aiden Turtle Boy Carney. And if you haven't read it, I'll drop it in the chat if you want to go back and review it without my commentary and read through it. That is the link. So good stuff there. Good stuff, Aiden. Really good stuff. I love it. I love it. Good stuff. All right, let's go to Ted Daniel. His report today that the federal investigation is over. And he has the sauces. The sauces. Thank you all for being here. If you could do me a big, huge favor, go down there, smash the like button. It is free to do that. I appreciate everybody being here. And we're going to get into some Robert Brooks updates. And we're going to get into Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia update as well towards the end of this live stream. All right, let's pull up. Ted Daniel today reported at 2 p.m. a couple hours ago. Federal investigation of Karen Reed case is over, sources say. Two sources briefed on conversations that occurred between the U.S. attorney in Boston and the state and local law enforcement tell 25 investigates that the federal probe of the Karen Reed murder case has officially ended. When would the FBI ever just turn to someone and say, yeah, the federal investigation is over? I've never really heard any of the federal. I've never heard the feds notifying anybody. They usually, would probably turn that information over to the attorneys first before any of that was put out there. I hope this is not like a Twitter thing or social media or any of these fucking nutbags that are trying to do all this stuff to Aka. The case centers on the death of Boston. We know the background is going to go on. One source said that expected Norfolk County Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan to announce the development when Reed returns to court on Tuesday for the continuation of the pretrial hearing. Judge Bev Canoni abrupted ended last week. Perfect. Great. Go ahead. Mention it. If it's true, go ahead. Put it out there. Because you know what? Just like I said before, when all this stuff is announced, guess what happens? Goes on the record. And if you're going to go ahead and put that on the record, I think that Karen Reed's defense team could turn around and fight a little bit more to get the federal information into this case, right? I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but if the Commonwealth is going to announce that the federal investigation is over, then why not turn over the 3,200 pages that we know about of this investigation and let the jury see it? If there wasn't something there federally, the feds never would have got involved. If there wasn't something there for the feds to look at, they wouldn't have done a 3,200-page report. They wouldn't have done a 3,200-page report. You think they would have wasted their time and money on this if there wasn't something there? D499, thank you, says Hank states, we are entitled to the emails, but not entitled to the metadata. Exactly. And you know what I love too? I love the fact that, and if you go back and listen to the previous hearing, Liz Little talks about, what do we hear about? Really, I think for the first time, geofencing data. So that tells me that the defense probably has something with the geofencing data that now it's come up. Maybe they've dug a little bit deeper. Maybe they had an expert look at this and they found something. And what's going to happen is when you find about geofencing, and I just grab my phone, and if people don't understand it, I have my phone here. Let's say my friend is sitting over there. They're going to know where our phones were. They're going to know what area we were at, and they can get that down to inches. Inches, people. Inches. All right, let's read on here. Let's see. As 25 investigators reported in December 2023, the federal probe was run by the U.S. Attorney Public Corruption Unit against and agents from Boston FBI office assisted with it. I just want to go on here. Yeah, it was about 3,100 pages. Here we go. The federal government provided I'm just going to round it up, 3,100 pages of documents from the investigation of Reed's case before her trial last April in December in Dedham's Norfolk Superior Court. The documents included Trooper Proctor's offensive text message about Reed, the grand jury testimony from prosecution witness Brian Higgins, and the destruction of his cell phone, and the findings from ACA, an engineering consultant firm that concluded that O'Keefe's injuries did not appear to come from a vehicle strike. That is it. That's case over, people. That is case over. And let's say this. We bring ACA in the second time around. They have an accident reconstruction with all of the data that they have. And they put that into their computer and they analyze it and they come up with a module to show the jury, a reenactment of this. And the jury can visually see that. Game over. Game over. Not guilty. Acquitted. Bye-bye. Karen Reed goes on with her life. Hopefully some arrests in the McAlbert clan. But that's it. That's game over right there. That's what this is all about. I mean, you look at what has Brennan attacked. Dr. Marie Russell, the dog bites. He's attacked the 227 Google search. He's gone in now and trying to attack ACA. He's going in and trying to continuously keep the federal information out. He's trying to get AJ kicked off the case. These are all key things, all key players in Karen Reed's defense. Heatherlicious, member for 14 months. Thank you so much. They've been here longer. Had to stop membership for a bit. Not a problem. Not a problem. You know, life takes its turns, ups and downs. All I care is that you're in this room, or you can come back to the channel at any point, check out the videos, like them, drop a comment, tell your friends about the channel. And my friends, we're getting close to 40,000 subscribers. Less than about 2,200 away. So the biggest thing is keep smashing that like button. Tell your friends about this channel. Share it on all your social media. Let's get to that 40,000 before this next trial supposedly starts. But it's going to look like it's going to. April 1st. So let's see if we get any more information. The conclusion of the federal probe comes 1 month after U.S. Attorney of District of Massachusetts, Leah Foley, was appointed to replace Josh Levy, who resigned on January 17, 2025. 25 investigators reached out to the Norfolk DA's office, the state police, and Canton Police Chief Helena Rafferty. None immediately responded. Of course not. Reed's defense and U.S. Attorney's office declined to comment. Boston 25 will stream on Tuesday's court hearing. So that's the sauces. That's the sauces, people. And then we had this article about an hour ago. Sorry, my voice. Lawyers for Karen Reed seek to keep parts of dismissal motion under seal. Excuse me. Whew. Lawyers for the Karen Reed case are asking the presiding judge to let them file portions of their motion to dismiss in charges under seal. In court papers filed Friday in the Norfolk Superior Court, Reed's lawyers cited, oh, my nose is itchy, cited multiple reasons for their request to redact excerpts from the motion, which alleges extraordinary governmental misconduct in this case. Reed's lawyers said that the materials they are seeking to redact are subject to, oh, I love this, a federal protective order. Mentioning those feds, baby. While others are shielded by previous impoundment orders issued by Judge Bev Canone. Good cause exists to impound the requested material. Reed's attorney, Elizabeth Little, wrote in an affidavit, after David, as Turtle Boy likes to say it, after David. Namely, all the references to impound sidebar transcripts, references and information that is subject to a federal protective order. Ooh, just keep talking about those feds, right? Let's get it in there. Let's get it in the case. Let's keep talking about it. Federal prosecutors in Boston convened a separate grand jury to investigate the state laws enforcement in a high-profile case. We know that. The latest round of pretrial motions came ahead of a highly anticipated schedule for Tuesday. We know this. We know the background. We know, let's see, her lawyers, okay. Reed's first trial. And also Friday the defense, I like this one. Also, Friday the defense filed a motion to bar prosecutors from calling, oh, this is a good one, meteorologist Robert Gilman to testify about the hardness of the ground in the area where O'Keefe's body was found. How the fuck would this guy know the fucking consistency of the dirt or soil or any of the area of Brian Albert's fucking lawn on that night? What are you going to do? You're going to do a tongue test? How the fuck would you know? Well, you know, it was cold and it was freezing and there was snow. So the ground must have been hard. Oh, man, I'll tell you. The defense has focused on autopsy photos showing severe swelling on O'Keefe's face, which they say was caused by an accident. In a report submitted to the prosecutors this month, Gilman wrote that the ground where O'Keefe was discovered would have been, I like this scientific turn. This is a scientific turn, everybody. This is a scientific term. Hard as a rock. So next time when you're in your science class and the science teacher says, how's that experiment going over there? And you look over and you go, Mr. Wilson, it's hot as a rock. Hot as a rock at the time of awning to weather conditions. Reed's lawyer said this lacks the expertise to formulate such an opinion. Gilman used the quotation marks around the expression Reed's lawyers wrote is a tactic admission that the analysis is not scientific in of itself. Hot as a rock is not a scientific analysis and is emphasis on a common figure of everyday speech. This is so laughable. The use of a lay language where scientific assessment should be an extent is a further showing that Mr. Gilman did not rely upon scientific meteorology to reach his speculative opinion. Separately, Monday, Canoni issued rulings on the number of other pretrial motions. The judge denied the defense motion to order prosecution to protect a forensically sound copy of complete with all metadata and associated logs to the Canton Police Sallyport area where Reed's vehicle was taken for inspection of O'Keefe. I mean, how do you even know at this point in time that any video that's going to be produced at this time, right? How would you even know that that's even the original video? This video has been cut up so many flipping times, left, right, upside down, backwards, forth. You have 43 minutes, 45 minutes of it missing. It's inverted, it's horizontal, it's vertical, it's in the the upside down. How can you even trust it at this point? The judge ruled the prosecutors already have to comply with their previous order, compelling them to turn over photographs, video, and audio recordings to the defense. Both sides agreed last month that a member of the prosecution team will copy any surveillance video to remains on a retired detective's computer. Oh my God. Stored on materials on a hard drive and provided a copy to the defense, a process that would be videotaped, Canoni ruled. There is no affidavit of the expert of any evidence before the court that is procedure agreed by the skilled counsel for both parties would result in the destruction of metadata. Let's see. Unredacted copy of the state police report, of unredacted copies of all public records, email correspondence, communications about the probe, unredacted copies of authorities' notes and material and law enforcement witness in the case. Yeah. Number of investigators who work on the probe into Keith's death also worked on the Birchmore case, and they initially ruled that the Birchmore took her own life before the federal authorities later charged Matthew Farwell, a former Stoughton police officer. Yep, we know about that. Said the defense counsel can file a supplement if they want to hear and reconsider the motion. In her ruling, Canoi said that she didn't have enough information to determine whether the defense request is beyond the scope of prosecutors' discovery obligations or if the material itself is relevant. Yep. Bias Bev. Bias Bev. Bias Bev. It's what we got. Bias Bev. Yeah, we are in the upside down. It's fucking crazy. It is crazy, man. Vixie Blaze, member for 5 months. Thank you so much for being a member. Being a member. Let's see. I want to go to... Okay, let's talk about updates in Robert Brooks's case. If you don't know, I just started covering this. It came across my algorithm a couple of weeks ago. I made a note about it. I had been watching what was going on in that case, and some more information had come out. They produced a video. I had retired Mass State Police Todd McGee on my show. We had a discussion about it. We watched through that horrible video, the beating and murder of Robert Brooks. But we have another update today. The 10th correctional officer actually went into court today and was formally charged. Last Thursday was the 9 the 9 arraignments of the correctional officers that were charged from second-degree murder all the way up to witness tampering. The bail was ridiculously set low, in my opinion. I think all of their bail totaled about $250,000, which would be 10%, so $25,000 cash, and they can literally get out and walk on the streets while they wait for their trial. $25,000 cash, $25,000, and these murderous animals are allowed to walk around. Let's get to this article here, and then we have a little bit of video. I'm going to play the arraignment video because I want people to know. I want people to see the face, because they at first he was an unnamed correctional officer. And if you didn't see my my Facebook post and tweet today, I'm going to pull it up really quick because I kind of opined on this. Oh, I hate saying that word, but I guess it's appropriate for this. Let's see. I'm going to pull this up. So I said, the unnamed correctional officer involved in the deadly beating and murder of Robert Brooks, captured on body cam footage, will face charges today in Oneonta County Courthouse in upstate New York. This is the same officer who was granted special privileges by the district attorney William Fitzpatrick during Thursday's arraignment of the 9 other officers involved, allowing him to attend prior obligations since they were deemed not a flight risk. The officers facing charges of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and tampering with evidence. Each defendant pled not guilty. Keep that in mind. These fuckers are on video beating and murdering this guy. Beating, torturing, and murdering him, and had the balls to come in here and step in court and plead not guilty. Bail was set at $100,000 in cash for those facing murder charges and $25,000 for those. I think it was more. It was around $250,000 for those facing manslaughter. Keep in mind that Brooks was defenseless, handcuffed, and shackled when he was brutally beaten to death. This serves as an important point that really how fucked up our justice system is, as these individuals post bail and walk free without waiting trial. Unnamed officer, stop protecting their names. We deserve to know. We deserve to know. All right, let's pull up this video here, and then we're going to watch the arraignment.
You killing our kids. You killing
Last
our kids.
Thursday. Last Thursday at the arraignment.
This outburst, one of many reactions that we're seeing tonight as several corrections officers are charged with the prison beating death of Robert Brooks.
Many upset with the judge's decision to set bail for all those involved. CBS 6's Brianna Sapardi reports from outside Oneida County Court with the latest.
At least 5 corrections officers are facing murder charges in connection to the brutal beating death of Robert Brooks, who is an inmate at Marcy Correctional Facility. 4 others are facing lesser crimes, including manslaughter and tampering with physical evidence. But for Brooks' family and others seeking justice for his death, they feel it hasn't been fully served.
An Oneida County grand jury has charged you with various crimes, the top count of which is murder in the second degree.
It was standing room only inside the courtroom where 10 officers were indicted on charges for the beating death of inmate Robert Brooks.
I want to go back. That one right there, the one that reminds me of Brian Albert. This one right here, Anthony Farina. That's the worst one. That's the worst one, and I hope this fucker goes down hard. But you know what's going to happen? They're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal with the DA, and these fucks will be out walking around 8 to 10 years. They'll be out walking around. They're going to go, oh, just like fucking Proctor. Oh, it's the stress of the job. Oh, that's what made me do it. These fuckers. Farina, that's the one right there. This one right here. That fucker. He's the one that beat him. He choked him. He kicked Brooks in the genitals. He stuffed Clorox wipes down his mouth and then held him up against the wall until he stopped breathing and then threw him on that gurney. Fucker.
Robert Brooks. Dozens came out to the Oneida County Courthouse Thursday to be there to see the officers stand before a judge for arraignment. The 5
That
officers
one right
charged
there,
with
Farina.
second-degree murder include Nicholas Anzalone, David Kingsley, Anthony Farina, Christopher Walrath, and Matthew Gallagher. 3 other officers, Michael Mashaw, Michael Fisher, and David Walters, have been charged with manslaughter, while Nicholas Gentile was charged with tampering with physical evidence. Bail was set for all of them, which didn't sit
Heather,
well
there's
with
no
those seeking
excuse.
justice for Robert Brooks, some even confronting the family of the officers. Protests erupted after the arraignment, angry that these defendants charged with murder were able to make bond and go home to their families.
This was a continuation of injustice. I never, and once in my community, seen what you release someone for murder in the second degree. I'm someone who was arrested, indicted, and wrongfully convicted for murder in the second degree. When I was arrested, I didn't get no bail.
They're going home to their families tonight. All of them. It's 2 systems that we're dealing with here. It's a system that's for righteous people and a system for people that don't look like us. So, this is a step in the direction, but it's like justice delayed is justice denied.
Robert Ricks, Brooks' father, angry and emotional, had these words to say.
My question is why? That's my question. Why? Why do y'all hate us so? Why? What do we do? What do we do? We ain't do nothing. We help you build this country. We help you build it. Blood, sweat, and tears. We help you build this country. So why do you hate us?
The Onondaga County District Attorney.
Yeah, and listen to what Fitzpatrick says. My voice is cracking. Listen to what Fitzpatrick says about bail in this case. This is sickening. Absolutely sickening. And I want everybody to keep in mind, when Brooks was transferred from Mohawk facility, that's about 10 miles up the road where he ultimately ended up being transferred into Marcy and then killed. When they transferred him, they were beating him inside the van. These corrupt motherfucking animals were beating him the whole time, handcuffed and shackled, defenseless, beat him inside that van. And then when they got to Marcy, the transfer facility up the road, they took him out and beat him in the courtyard. He was beat twice before he was brought in to the infirmary. And that infirmary had no cameras, because that's something that Todd and I looked for when we were reviewing the video. And what these fuckers didn't know is that they had body-worn cameras, and they're supposed to activate them. They're supposed to activate them when they have any interactions with inmates. Well, they didn't activate them. But what they didn't know is 4 of the cameras that these officers were wearing triggered and came on. So we got you. There was no audio, but you can see their actions by what they did. And they beat and tortured and murdered Robert Brooks inside that facility. And you go back and think, if they're doing it to this guy, they've done it to 100 more before him. And there's been a complaint about Farina involved in this 2 years prior. And the DA has been working with him. I think the original DA was working with him, recused themselves from this case. All right, let's keep playing this. And this fucker here, I love this one. Oh, if you get bail, then you just got to say thank you.
The special prosecutor in this case held a press conference afterwards. When asked why bail was set for murder charges, this was what he had to say.
This is New York. If you get bail on a case, you should, after you do a novena, just say thank you, Your Honor, for setting bail. The bail is not an issue in this case. Case is not going to be decided because someone's locked up for 8 months or 9 months till the case comes to trial. These guys aren't going anywhere.
I love it. This is the justice system for you people. This is the justice system. This is how it works. This is how it works. Murdered on camera. Literally murdered and tortured on camera. This is how it works. Oh, they're not going anywhere. They're not a flight risk. They're not going anywhere. Unfucking real. Unreal. I'm going to read a little bit of this, and then I want to play that arraignment today. State police investigate 400 leads. 400 leads in Marcy Correctional Facility assault case following inmate's death. 400 leads. State police announced that their investigation into the beating death of Robert Brooks, an inmate at Marcy Correctional Facility, uncovered 400 separate leads. According to New York State Police, they analyzed hundreds of pieces of evidence and executed 16 search warrants as part of their investigation into Brooks's death. Brooks, 43, was assaulted by staff at Marcy Correctional Facility and ultimately succumbed to his injuries on December 9, 2024. State police were first informed of Brooks' death early in the morning, December 10th. The brutal nature of this crime is deeply disturbing on all levels of violence inflicted upon Robert Brooks was egregious. Other members have worked tirelessly to ensure the responsibles are held accountable. New York State Police Attorney Stephen G. James said, let's see this. Let's see. Indictments. Yeah, we saw that last week. We hope that the arrest brings some measure of justice to the family and the loved ones of Mr. Brooks. This is so disgusting. Let's play this video here.
Only 2 of the 7 people charged yesterday in connection to the beating death of Marcy Correctional inmate Robert Brooks are in the Oneida County Jail tonight. David Kingsley and Christopher Walrath are behind bars. They are both charged with murder and manslaughter, along with Nicholas Anzalone, Anthony Farina, and Matthew Gallagher. An unnamed individual will be arraigned on the charges next week. Charged with just manslaughter, Michael Mashaw, David Walters, and Michael Fisher. They are not in the jail tonight. Nicholas Gentile also not behind bars. He's charged with tampering with physical evidence. Brooks was seen on body-worn camera being beaten in December, clinically dead a half hour later, we learned yesterday. The special prosecutor says Brooks did nothing that would have provoked the assault. Not in court yesterday, 3 individuals who reached plea agreements and 3 who are still under investigation.
Yeah.
Just crazy. All right, let's watch this arraignment of this fucker today. They brought the 10th one in to face his charges. He's the one that got special treatment because he had a prior engagement. He's not a flight risk. So they finally brought him in today to face the judge. It's about a 9-minute arraignment. I want everybody to see his face. That's why I'm doing this, because they unnamed him. They unnamed him at first, and I want people to see the face of this fucker. I want people to hear the name. Stabbing his girlfriend. It's not a good guy by any means. Not a good guy. I think he was facing 12 or 13 years. He was doing his time. But Robert Brooks didn't deserve any of this. I don't care who it is. Didn't deserve this. They beat and murdered this guy. All right, let me just fast forward here until they bring him in.
Nicholas Kiefer. Welcome at the outset. I have a number of media requests for audio, visual, and some photography. Any objections?
No, sir. No, Your Honor. Do not.
Court will permit the same.
Here he is. Fucker. Here he comes. You fucker. Motherfucker.
What's the matter with people? I'm sorry?
You want to sit at the podium or?
Yeah, right at the podium, and you can move the microphone up there. Thank you. This is the matter of people against Nicholas Kiefer, indictment 25035 on for arraignment today.
Nicholas Kiefer. Nicholas Kiefer. Remember that name, people. Remember he was unnamed. He was an unnamed correctional officer. Didn't want to be named. They were protecting him. Not anymore, you fuck. Not anymore. Nicholas Kiefer.
And Mr. Curley, I understand you're appearing of counsel to Attorney David Longaretta, who's been retained in this matter. Is that correct?
It is, Judge.
All right. Sir, that's your name, Nicholas Kiefer?
Yes, sir.
Sure
How old
is.
are you, Mr. Kiefer?
33.
Mr. Kiefer, you're here today because the grand jury of Oneida County returned an indictment against you, and you do have to be arraigned upon that. Counsel, you may arraign.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people of the state of New York, by indictment number I-2025-035, the grand jury of the county of Oneida, by this indictment, accuses Nicholas Kiefer of the felony crime of murder in the second degree. Defense counsel, do you waive a further reading of the indictment? Yes. Your Honor, providing defense counsel a copy of this indictment as well as the People's Standard pretrial notices, one of which is our intent to use statements allegedly made by the defendant. The people are also providing a disc with recorded statements from the defendant.
Now, real quick, I'm going to get to this. Nancy Jo M., member for 7 months, says employees of the prison have walked out everywhere across New York State right now. All of the prisons, they're protesting right now. They're out. They want better conditions. They're on strike. They're protesting. They want better conditions. They're fighting back the system right now. There's literally no one. Well, the National Guard has been brought in, but there's literally no one watching over these inmates. They don't have enough people. They're literally just locking the inmates in. I was reading an article about one of the correctional officers went over a 72-hour shift. 72-hour shift. It's a fucking mess up there. The Governor Hochul is a mess. She's fucked that whole state up with its law and authority, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And if you want to watch the analysis of what happened here to Robert Brooks, you can find all of that information on my channel. I had a live with Todd McGee the other night, and you're going to want to watch that and check this out. All right, let's keep playing this here.
Defense counsel, do you acknowledge receipt?
I do. I acknowledge receipt those documents and the disc. I wait for any further reading, Judge. I plead not guilty on all charges.
Very good. A not guilty plea is entered on the defendant's behalf. It's the court's intention at this time, along with the other cases, to adjourn this matter to March 31st. It will be at 9:30 a.m. for a pretrial conference. Would either side want to be heard on the question of bail?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to be heard.
Go right ahead.
We'll take a ride up the mile.
Co-defendants in this case have previously had bail set at $100,000 cash, $250,000 bond, $1 million partially secured bond. The people believe that the defendant should have the same amount set on him, along with Mr. Anzalone, Kingsley, Frena, and Walrath and Gallagher. And we would ask that he provide the defense with his passport, and the defense allow the people in the court to be notified when that has been done.
Thank you. Mr. Curley, first of all, does your client have a passport?
He's not with him, Judge. He has one, and we'll see if it gets to the court.
It'll be conditioned that he turn that in. Did you want to be heard on the topic of bail, Mr. Curley?
No, Judge, we're prepared to go forward on that basis. We have a bail bond in here.
Just 1 second.
He's so tough in cuffs now, huh? He looking a little bit nervous standing there, huh? He looking a little bit nervous standing there. Right? See, you look a little scared now. Ain't so tough in cuffs now, pal.
Court officer, you can pass that over to Mr. Curley, please. The court has considered the arguments of counsel here this morning, considered all of the statutory factors, and noting in particular that the defendant, if convicted of the top count, could face as much as 25 years to life in state prison. Bail is set in the following amounts. That is $100,000 cash, $250,000 insurance company bail bond, or $1 million partially secured surety bond with a minimum 10% deposit. With that, I understand our bondsman has some paperwork. You may have to sign your order, or would you see me to take a quick look at what you've got? Appearing before me now is bondsman J. Bernardo. Mr. Bernardo, do you swear to the truth of the content of your bail undertaking an affidavit? I do, Your Honor.
Yeah, they do, Stephanie. Yeah, I know that. I saw that.
Mr. Kiefer, I have before me a proposed bail bond in the amount of $250,000. I understand you're asking to be released upon this. Is that correct? Yes. All right. You understand what your number one obligation is under this bond? Yes. What is that? Pay my court dues. I'm back to court. Exactly right. So some things to understand. First of all, you do have a right to be present at all stages of proceedings in your case. If for some reason you did not come back to court as required, then a
100%.
warrant will be issued for your arrest. The bail posted by way of this bond that would be forfeited and lost, and you would then face a new felony charge. That's known as bail jumping. and your case could proceed in your absence. That means you could be tried in your absence, and if you were convicted, sentenced in your absence as well. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I've received now a document entitled Parker Warning, which outlines in writing the same warnings that I just gave you. Can you confirm for me that you signed this document here in court after you reviewed it with your attorney today?
Yes, sir.
Or this signing and approving bail bond. Thank you. Mr. Kiefer, you will be back in this court on March 31st at 9:30 a.m. for a pretrial conference. Keep in touch with your attorney. In the meantime, that passport is to be turned in promptly.
Thank you, Aaron.
30 suit. Sure. Yeah, the inmates will get these guys. Believe me, there'll be some. They're probably frothing at the mouth. Yeah, keep your head down in shame, you fucker. Put that, yeah, hide that head in shame. Son of a bitch. Not much more to go here. Listen, if you haven't caught what happened to Robert Brooks, I'll play a little bit of the video here. I'm not going to play too much. I don't really want to watch through this video again. But for the people that are asking, and then I'll drop the link to this video if you want to watch it. I just want to warn everybody, this is very graphic content. So if you are uneasy, but it needs to be shown, it needs to be seen. Everybody needs to know what these fuckers did. And I'm going to play probably about a minute of it here, and then I'm going to finish up with a update on Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia. All right, we're going to play through this. This is a very tough video to go through. I will drop the link for it now if you do want to go back and watch it again. It's very graphic. All right, here we go.
Gallagher in the room.
That's
There
what they
goes
did to Brooks.
Farina stomping on Brooks' genitals while they pin him to the table and punch him repeatedly. Gallagher has his hand on Brooks's throat. Here comes Walrath back. Walrath is grabbing Brooks's leg with Farina and twisting. Kiefer's back in the room too, on the far side of the room, standing there. There's Kessler, Michael Fisher. See Michael Fisher in the doorway. This is from Michael Fisher's camera. When Farina was gagging Brooks, Brooks must have bit him because you see him, he took his glove off and he checked his finger and he grimaced. Now here's Kessler walking into the room. Kiefer is already in there, but Kiefer just got directed to leave the room by Sergeant Trombley. Let's watch that again. There's Trombley pointing at Kiefer across the room, and then
so again, we tend to focus in on where the abuse is happening. Everyone in that room, everyone in that hallway is complicit. This is what we saw in the Derek Chauvin case, where the other two officers were also charged. They didn't have their knee on George Floyd's neck.
Right.
However, they didn't stop Chauvin either. So and again, my law enforcement background is in policing, not corrections, but it applies. It's the same custodial care that when you have a prisoner, in this case, you have an inmate, that there's a duty to intervene. That's not new. It's in the books now. It's written in policies and procedures, which is new. However, if you have any sense of moral guidance in your career, you stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's many officers in that room that had an opportunity to say, hey, that's enough.
Enough.
I'm just going to speed up here to the end. Here's one of the nurses. Let's see. I'm just gonna play a little bit more. I don't really want to watch this again. It's pretty bad. Yeah, Sean from Long Island Auditor. I actually reached out to him. I emailed him, see if he would come on my show. Haven't heard back. He's probably pretty busy. Yeah, I went through some of his videos on the channel when I did last couple lives about this. I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and then I do want to move on and end the show with Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia update. Here we go.
And they think that cameras are in the off position.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
Mesh cover, and there's a ledge there.
Thank you so much
There's
for
a
coming in,
windowsill.
YouTube member.
It's concrete. When they pick him up off the table, Brooks can't walk. So they carry him. He's a small guy compared to them. And they carry him over to the corner and they pin him up against the window ledge. While they're pinning Brooks to the window ledge, Sergeant Mashaw is not letting Nurse Medovic into the room. That's Nurse McMedovic on the right, Sergeant Mashaw on the left. It looks like Medovic wants to get into the room. He's got his gloves on. Mashaw's not having it.
5 years in New York.
Sends Medovic on
5
its
years.
way.
Okay.
These are Brooks' last moments. There's Kessler, Anzalone, and Kingsley with Brooks pinned up against the wall. Now it's 9:31. The nurses are still outside the room. Kingsley, Anzalone, and Kessler are still in the corner with Brooks. Now Kessler seems to be applying pressure. Anzalone just lifted Brooks and threw him into the air twice. Brooks seems completely limp.
I'm gonna stop this. I don't really want to watch this again. It's pretty bad. But if you feel that you want to go through it, I encourage everybody to do this. I'll drop the video there. That's the video section that with Todd and my commentary over it. And then him and I actually did about an hour and a half live stream. So if you want to go and watch that, I encourage everybody to do this. I want to let everybody know the reason why I bring these cases in, and I'll start with Karen Reed, and then I'll bring another case in, and we'll talk about Robert Brooks, and we'll talk about Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia, because these cases are just important as Karen Reed, because you're seeing police corruption in all these cases that we cover here. There is a lot of police corruption, and people need to know about these cases. And, I see, when you stop talking about Karen Reed, people will leave the room, but this is important. This is very, very important. And these cases matter to me. And I hope that they matter to you as well, because they are very, very important. They are very, very important. You have Robert Brooks, is a black man that was snuffed out by 14, not all of them, but 14 people, correctional officers and available nurses that were there, white, that did not take care of him and not help him, and essentially snuffed him out. It's a hate crime. I hope there's federal charges that are brought against these guys as well too. I hope a civil rights attorney gets involved. It needs to be done. And then we have Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia. Well over 160 days with no answer. But I do have an update for you all. And I will continue to implement these cases when we talk about Karen Reed's case as well, because I want you to be aware of these cases. This is why I do it. And I understand that some people will just say, I'm here for Karen Reed. It's not talking about it anymore. I'm out of here. I don't want that to happen. I want to educate people about things that are going on in America that are important. This case Robert Brooks's case got no attention. The only people that I saw that were talking about it, Sean from Long Island Auditor, Duty Ron, and Stephen A. Smith. There was no major mainstream attention on this case. It was a blip on the screen. And it took the DA's office 2 fucking months, 2 months to come up with charges in this case. You had them on tape, sir. You had them on tape murdering Robert Brooks. And it took you 2 months to come to a conclusion, to bring charges against these fucking animals. All right, let's end with Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia update. I appreciate everybody being here today. All the new subscribers, all the new members, the people that have super chatted and supported the stream. I appreciate that. Stephanie, thank you so much. A $10 says, following this to end with you, Brian. JRB. I might take a ride up to upstate New York. That's what, at the end of March, they're going to face their first hearing. Maybe I'll go up there and be outside the courthouse and see these fuckers go in and take part of the protest out there. Gray Space, $5 says, looking to Rich and Albert's Delphi case in Indiana. If you want to bring attention to a wrongful conviction, major police prosecution, corruption. Thing is, man, that case is so large, and to tackle something like that where it's already gone through, and I get it. I did like 1 or 2 videos when it first started, but I was just so engrossed in with Karen Reed's case that kind of took the forward front. I mean, I live here in Massachusetts. I'm 20 minutes from the courthouse where all this happens. I've been kind of in the thick of it for the last 2 years here, if you're just coming into this channel. So that's why I didn't really jump into the Delphi case. And I appreciate it, but it's tough to go back at this point and comb through all of that. I'll be honest, I never really followed it that much. Family, here we go. We have Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia. Family of late Mass State Police trainee speaks as lawmakers seek investigation update. Quote, we hope they do this job for us. The stepfather of Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia told NBC 10 Boston and Telemundo exclusively. It has been 6 months since Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia died from his injuries he suffered during a training exercise in Massachusetts State Police Academy. Bullshit. And there's been no major updates announced on the investigation into what led to his death. And I also want to let everybody know there are now former FBI agents that have been hired by David Meyer's office to help on his team. So that tells me that there is a lot more to this case than there's being put out there in the public. You just don't bring on formal federal agents to investigate if there's not something there. Again, we have a video. There's a said 8-minute video, security video of what happened. I don't know how hard this is to conclude, to figure out what happened. 6 months and still no answer. Now, 3 Massachusetts state senators are calling for more information into this case, sending a letter to the Attorney General, Andrea Joy Campbell, asking for an update on its status, preliminary findings of the case, and how much longer it's going to take to get to the bottom of this. Quote, I understand that we can't get the details of the investigation, said Senator Michael Moore, a Democrat from Millbury. But there could be, look, if there's something that's wrong, you could have a civil liability and you could have a criminal. Read the letter here. Why can't I read the letter? That sucks. I'll have to try to find that. Maybe once I find it, I'll post it on Twitter and I'll post it on my Facebook page. Moore said that part of the family getting closure is completing the investigation and knowing all the circumstances that surrounded this tragedy. My voice, man. I can't get my voice back at all. And also ensure that if any out-of-date training method contributed to Delgado-Garcia's death, no one else is in that no one else is in danger from it. Delgado-Garcia's stepfather said his family is grateful that no one is forgetting their loved one. They are making pressure to the government, to the police, and that we hope they do this job for us, said Jose Perez, speaking exclusively at NBC 10 Boston and Telemundo on Thursday. Delgado-Garcia, 25, died in September 2024 after suffering injuries sustained from a boxing training exercise at the academy in New Braintree. Bullshit. Campbell named attorney David Meyer to lead an outside investigation into what happened. Delgado-Garcia's family said that the only one says they only know he was hit in the head and lost consciousness, and that all of his teeth were broken and bruises on his body. He wasn't hit in the head. This guy was beat. Fred Taylor, the president of the Worcester branch of the NAACP, is urging investigators to be transparent. It's not a good look. Hopefully something will come out soon, some information soon about where things are. Asked about the letter. The representative for Campbell said they don't comment on ongoing investigations. Of course. We reached out to Meyer for comment and not heard anything back. And that's basically the same runaround I got from Meyer as well. 6 months. Tragic. Absolute tragic. Just tell us what fucking happened. Just tell us what happened. All right, everybody. Very busy day for Karen Read in court tomorrow. Court is at 11 a.m. I hope that you all watch all the affiliated channels that are going to be streaming it. And I will do some kind of recap this week. I do have to work tomorrow, so I won't be able to watch the trial, the hearing live, but I'll be back at some point once I can sort through everything that happens tomorrow and do a recap. Thank you all so much for being here. If this is your first time here, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm at the home base today. I'll be back in the studio this week and planning some upcoming lives. Thank you for everybody that is a Go Squad member. Thank you all for the support and super chats today. And thank you for the commenting and following along here in the chat. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe once this posts. And I will talk to everybody soon. Everybody have a fantastic night. I think Turtle Boy is at 9 o'clock tonight. So if you want to go over and check him out, please do. And I'm sure that the Young Jerks and Mazda Media will have some upcoming shows in the future. Actually, no, I'm sorry. There is an actually upcoming show. On Thursday, I will be on Mazda Media's channel, probably around 6:30 p.m. And I'll be helping him out with a fundraiser. He's going to run 3 hours. It's a pre-birthday fundraiser for Karen Read. I'm going to be raising a lot of money for her defense fund. So please come over and join us. Okay, I'm out, everybody. Have a good night. Peace.